Another missed first serve from Lehecka on match point. Just
yeah, Sinner's going to take this surely.
Yep, that's it. There we go. Pretty good match, all things considered. A pretty good second set. I mean, if you're Lehecka, you can build on that performance, right? If he does nothing else than increases his first serve percentage, he very well might have gone to 3 with the world number 1. That's a solid performance. I think Sinner at moments seemed to get a little tight, seemed to spray the ball, but not tight, but he was spraying the ball a touch more than he normally does.
Yeah.
But also, everything that makes him the world number 1 was apparent throughout that whole set.
Yeah, ultimately he was the more composed player overall than Lehecka, and I mean, especially that first set, there wasn't much of a contest. Credit to Lehecka for making it a contest in that second set.
Yeah,
he did give it a go, but ultimately when it came down to that tiebreak, there was that point as well that we were talking about. He sprayed that forehand. You probably, if you want to win a tiebreak against Sinner, you can't even make any mistakes like that. So,
ooh, Eddie, we got a question for you, which is, what's the coffee like in Korea?
This is a really funny question. Coffee is actually quite good in Korea now, so I'm going to say that, which is strange because I feel like coffee arrived here later. But nowadays, you get pretty good coffee in Korea. A lot of, I think that's just from competition. There's so many coffee places now, and it's kind of trendy. So, yeah. So I actually, I went to New York recently. Wasn't overly impressed with the coffee, I have to say. So I don't know if that's an American or New York issue, but it was.
Yeah.
So
I mean, for us, it's the caffeine delivery mechanism more than it is like a drink to be savored. As I'm looking at these stats, really, really impressive work from Lehecka on his second serve. Sinner was totally dominant on his first serve, points won. It's what are you doing?
Similar ratio there, isn't it? 15 winners to 23 errors there for Sinner, but ultimately slightly better probably for him. But and the first serve percentage is there quite different, and then first serves 79%. I mean, those much bigger differential actually in those serving stats, which is surprising, like you said, that Lehecka was able to keep it so close. But
I mean, it seems like the only way that he was able to hang in there is because of that, how strong he was doing on his second serve. His return rating was far weaker. He didn't get a single break. His first serve make rate wasn't high enough. And I just like, I'm really impressed by Lehecka's ability to hang in there when there were things that he needed to do to win that he wasn't doing well. Also, if you scroll down there, you see the max serve speed, 141. Can't teach 141 mile an hour serve. That's a big serve. That's heat. I think if physically a machine made me hit a 141 mile an hour serve, my arm would fly off, or I would tear every single thing that there is to tear in my shoulder.
So Sinner is going to go through, and he will be playing the winner of Rublev or Bu. That looks to be still on serve, 2-all, and it's about to be 3-2. It looks like to Rublev. So you would expect Rublev to get through that one, and I think that's going to be the first. I mean, I'm not sure that I would go as far as saying that he's going to win that match against Sinner if he does get through, like you would. But I feel like it's going to be the first real test for Sinner to sort of see really where he is with this game. I mean, because it wasn't like a completely, you could say Sinner could have played better today, but he got through nonetheless. And obviously dropped sets in the first two matches. So
I mean,
let's see if he can step it up.
Yeah, if Sinner plays like that against Rublev, he's going to lose that match. Rublev's levels, it's solid right now. I think while I made the prediction that Rublev was going to win, like, I don't know, would I bet my house on that? Probably not. But I do think he's got what it takes. And at a certain point, we talked about this a few times over the course of the last hour, like at some point in time, you got to imagine Sinner's going to feel the pressure. He's going to feel the shift in how the fans feel towards him or how his fellow players do, because while people want to see him play and while the game I think is better off with him in it, it's not like he is universally being supported right now, and that takes a toll on everybody. Can we just get a quick check-in on the Fields rune score?
Oh, but it's on serve in the second set there.
Oh, it's good for Rune for getting it back on track.
Yeah, it's just a question because I feel like Feast. I mean that could go to another tiebreak, couldn't it? So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a question in the chat.
So, yeah, I still think overall positive though in terms of just for Sinner to get through in straight sets because he hadn't done that yet. So it's progress in that respect. Could someone live in Korea without speaking any Korean, do you think? Yeah, I guess for a while, but I mean, I wouldn't recommend just not like speaking at all. But I mean, because certainly you can learn the Korean alphabet very easily, so that's a good start for you.
I kind of would go a step further and say, just if you're gonna live somewhere, it's good to learn the language no matter where that is, right?
Yeah, absolutely. but yeah, I think maybe he's just asking like, I mean, people come here as tourists and they do fine. I don't think they don't necessarily know the language, so yeah, you could do it for a while, but yeah, you should learn the language if you're going to live somewhere. It doesn't matter where it is. Yeah.
Another question we got was that I mentioned earlier the fans. And this from Ghost of Gerulaitis. By the way, Vitas Gerulaitis, one of the most criminally underrated players in the modern world. We've not talked about nearly enough. Really, really fun player. So love that username. What percentage of fans do we think are anti-Sinner? Right now, I think that it is majority are pro. I would say probably like 3 out of 4 are pro Sinner, but also that's because most people, like most human beings, are not experts on this stuff. And so we don't really know what's going on. I also think I look at Jannik Sinner and I think to myself, does that look like a guy who is doing stuff to his body that is cheating? And the answer is no, because he's a string bean, right? If he was muscled out of his head, it would feel easier to believe. And so I think weirdly him just being so scrawny kind of works for him in keeping people on his side. So I think probably 3 out of 4 are with him. As more stuff comes out, maybe that'll change. Probably not, because I also think at the end of the day, most people just kind of want to see somebody who's really good at tennis playing tennis. What do you think, Eddie?
Yeah, but I guess he doesn't really look like someone that's taking steroids, right? But I mean, I don't know. There's different reasons why people take them. I mean, it's sort of to help their body rebuild as well. And I don't know, I mean, officially he's not been recognized as having intentionally doped. So
yeah.
I mean, supposedly there's been an independent tribunal and everything. So yeah, I'm just really just curious, what's going to happen though now, because it's just, because I think either way, even if, I mean, let's say he does get banned, obviously for a certain amount of period, that's going to be a big deal. And if he doesn't, then I know there's going to be a lot of reaction to that as well. From certain people especially. So
if I'm pro tennis, I want him banned for 3 months from right now until the start of the Australian Open. And then I want him back for the warm-up tournament and then the Australian Open. And it's see, accountability, but like he didn't really do anything, and then also he didn't miss anything that matters. Like once he starts missing majors, that's just such a bummer.
Yeah, so I heard that it might not be wrapped up until February, but I don't know. That was just sort of
Oh, interesting
thing that I saw, which would be after the Australian Open.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's
I
obviously not great to have that hanging over your head.
I mean, I sure hope that we get a Sinner Alcaraz match then, because in all seriousness, we might not get one for a long time.
Oh, but can you imagine if Sinner backs up his win because he has to defend his title, the Australian Open, and then gets banned? That would be.
I saw a tweet from a Sinner Stan account, and I really don't care for any of the Stan accounts. No matter, like, I have players I like more than others, but they're bad content. And somebody's saying, "Oh, it's only Djokovic fans that are rooting for Sinner to get banned, and it's because they think that he's going to beat his Australian Open record." And it's like, my man, the dude is 9 wins away from tying the record. Like, those kinds of claims are so outrageous, and like, I don't know how you feel about the Stan accounts, but they drive me
nuts. I saw that. Yeah, of course, there's we've already got the huge army of stands for Alcaraz and Sinner and whatnot. You don't have to worry about the big three being over. The stands are clearly out in full force now. Yeah, I mean, there's just. I mean, we're on Twitter. It can get a little bit crazy out there anyway now.
Yeah.
People will just say whatever they want.
On my screen, I've switched over to the Rublev Boo match for a little bit, just to check in. And I got to tell you, Boo's outfit, the drip is much nicer. Rublev's a little muted for my taste. I like it a little louder, but I'm digging the get up from Boo in a big way.
Yeah. So Yonex, he's got. I mean, yeah, it's quick conditions, isn't it, in Beijing? So
yeah,
I mean that. It's good for both these guys, Rublev and Boo. I mean, Boo has a good first serve. It's been surprising how well. I mean, it's been kind of expected him to sort of make the transition to the top 100 or towards the main tour, because he's been doing pretty well in the challengers, and he's obviously young, but he's got much better. But it's been a really good Chinese swing for him. So.
Yeah.
For him to, I mean, I don't think he's going to win this, but if he does win it, I mean, that makes things much easier, I think, for Sinner. I would definitely expect Sinner to win that match. But Rublev.
Very cheeky drop shot there from Rublev. That's how you know he's in a flow state.
So are we... Obviously, we're on here for Sinner and Lehecka. Are we going to wrap up this stream?
I think, unfortunately, it is 9:17 a.m. my time, and I have to go do my job, regretfully. Okay. So I gotta bounce in a moment here. But just want to say to John, and thanks for having me on. Eddie, pleasure meeting you. If you're ever stateside, let's get a hit in. Maybe go to a tournament. And to everybody in the chat, thank you guys so much for engaging as always. Some really good questions as per usual, and some good nuggets of tennis wisdom in there too.
Yeah, thanks. It's been good to chat with you. Probably not going to be in the US anytime soon, but one day maybe. But then, yeah, it's been interesting chat, and it's been interesting moment in tennis for Sinner. And we'll look forward to his next match, which will probably be against Rublev. But we'll see. That's the semi-final tomorrow, and then we've got Medvedev and Alcaraz. So we'll look forward to that.
And subscribe. Right, guys.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Hit like and subscribe.
Later.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.